We had a great night in Denver last night. Let me start off by thanking all of our partners once again that put in tremendous amount of work on this bond election that occurred last night. This started with a very deep commitment to engaging the city, the citizens of this city, around a question of where we should be placing our priorities in this bond election coming in 2017. With that, I also want to thank our voters who last night resoundingly gave a vote of confidence in the direction of this great city of ours. They simply said we need to continue to invest in our city as this city continues to mature and grow, and they have provided the resources so that we can keep this city globally competitive going forward. The people of Denver crafted these bonds. Again, I'll reiterate that we had over 4,000 ideas that came from the citizens of Denver. This was as much a people's bond as we've ever seen in the history of this great city. 460 critical projects, infrastructure projects, came from or are part of this bond, and again, were passed overwhelmingly last night. With the yes vote, we're now, as a city, prepared to repair and improve our critical infrastructure in our neighborhoods all over the city of Denver, keeping this a city that works for everyone. I'm gonna remind everyone that these bonds are designed to fix and create new ways to get around our town, protect and revitalize our parks, playgrounds, and recreation centers, increase access to health care, maintain and repair our libraries, the zoo, museums, and theaters. And we do this without raising our tax rates in the city of Denver. These bonds are more than just about building projects. We're also providing jobs for our people in this city. And I've said this not only with the city of Denver, this is about building a workforce that is resilient and prepared to move this city forward over the next 2 to 3 decades. So Denver Workforce Services will assist individuals with gaining training employment within the construction industry, a targeted industry that we have in the city of Denver, and we want to make sure that we get people from the very beginning of their careers who are ready to advance for the next 10 to 20 years. And we're going to be rolling out new partnerships that will help our residents with landing jobs in this construction industry, hopefully building the framework in every potential contract that we have going forward under this bond. So I want to be very clear before I go into next steps. We are grateful to the people of Denver. We don't take the decision that they made last night lightly. This will be an effort from this point forward to make sure we build the framework to be accountable, to be transparent, and to be responsible with these enormous resources that the people of Denver have vested in us. This is about stewardship, and we want to make sure that we have the highest level of stewardship of the resources that they have decided to invest in their city. So let me tell you what the next steps look like. We have not been sitting idle during the election, though we were very careful not to assume that we would have the success that we had last night. But it was important for us to begin the work internally on how we begin to manage this effort, because it will be a monumental effort over the next 10 years in the city of Denver. And so the team had begun already working with various departments and divisions, vetting their projects, making sure we understood their state of readiness. Between now and the end of the year, we will complete the process of laying out the RFP for a project manager. This is the same framework that we carried forward with the 2007 bond. The goal is to have a project management team in place by February of 2018. At the same time, we'll continue to vet the cadence of projects and making sure we understand their cadence, their state of readiness, as well as prioritizing those projects so that we can be in the financial markets by the second quarter of 2018. That cadence and schedule of projects will inform what that first issuance in the financial markets would look like. We will also continue our efforts to negotiate and work with our culturals, including Denver Health, in terms of the timing of their resources, so that we can make sure that we have funding agreements going forward, and we'll know when to include them in our financial issuance as well in the marketplace. And then finally, we already had a bond leadership team in place from 2007 that managed, I think, very well the 2007 issuance. At that time, the largest bond issuance in the city's history at $554 million. That bond leadership team will continue, and today I've asked that our Chief Capital Projects Officer for the City of Denver, Laura Perry, our Chief Projects Officer, Diane Barrett, and Deputy Chief Projects Officer Tychus Holloway will continue to serve as co-chairs of that committee. And this is a cross-departmental team that works internally to manage the rollout of all of our projects, manage that scope of cadence of projects, and will work closely with the project manager, again, to make sure that we have the highest level of accountability, responsibility, and transparency with regards to these bonds. So the City of Denver is ready. And we're honored that the people of Denver made this investment, and we want to assure them internally that we are doing everything we can to make sure that we are fit for the challenge over the next 10 years. So congratulations to the people of Denver, congratulations to the people of the City and County of Denver employment base and our various departments. We are now ready to make investments in our city going forward that will continue to keep us globally competitive. I'll open it up for question and answers at this time. Maybe I said it. Yes?
Do you have projects that are favorites of yours?
You're not going to get me to go there, John. Let me say this. One of the things I will say that I could have taken to Vegas is when we set out on this effort and we were really designing the community engagement process, I remember saying to the team, I would be surprised if transportation and mobility wouldn't come back as top priorities of the people of Denver. And not only did we see that repeated throughout the community engagement process where we had community meetings, people came through snowstorms to sit and tell us what they thought were priorities. But I think last night with the transportation mobility set of projects leading the way in terms of the highest percentage of votes showed that yes, indeed, it's a priority for the people of Denver.
Mayor Hancock, zooming in on that a little bit, most of the transportation budget is transit, walking, and biking, and I think maybe 110 million or so for the roads. So do you see that as a referendum for sustainable transportation?
Absolutely, and we knew that going in, and I want to repeat what I said at the State of the City address. This package of projects in this bond is really the first step to an overall transportation mobility priority setting and investment that we're going to have to make in this city for the next 12 years. We talked about $2 billion that we're going to have to invest. So this $491 million of investment is really just the first step, a great first step in that direction. And we're going to have to continue through our mobility task force to identify, one, where we're going to continue to make those strategic investments, and two, how we pay for them going forward.
Can you talk a little bit about the RFP process? Will you give any deference to local applicants or how applicants involved?
Let me bring up Laura Perry. Laura, you manage that process? Tychus? Come on up, Tychus Holloway.
Good morning, everyone. Tychus Holloway, Deputy Chief Projects Officer. So, as the mayor mentioned, we're currently looking for consultants who can help us manage this overall bond project. The city has social ordinances, and so we've been engaged with our disadvantaged business office and Office of Economic Development, who will help guide us with the percentages that are required for this. And so we will be looking for consultant teams who have the expertise of managing programs of this size, not only here locally, but throughout the country.
And let me just repeat, this is with regards to the external project manager. I was president of the City Council in 2007 when I joined with Mayor Hickenlooper. I almost said President Hickenlooper. That was a Freudian slip. Where we decided to do an external project management team, which worked really well for that size of a project. And I think that framework will work and serve us really well this time around as well. Any other questions? Yes, sir. You know, that's the Green Roof Initiative, and again, we said to them when we met with them, and though we were not going to line up in support of the initiative, our values were aligned. We don't disagree. We've been working on the issue of sustainability since we came into office. We've been doing it in a manner in which we are trying to collaboratively work with those who are, we believe, play an integral role in helping Denver be more sustainable. We're going to take a look at what it means to Denver now in terms of our city attorney has already, through a briefing this morning, shared with me that they're looking at some of the challenges and opportunities around that initiative, what it means to us. We are concerned that it may mean additional costs cost of some of these projects that we're laying out in terms of the bond that we did not have programmed in the dollars for the bond. But we'll have to determine that as we look at it more closely and how it will impact our projects. Yeah. We have always made a good faith effort to implement the initiatives. Once the people have spoken, that's our job, to work to implement it. Again, the key is to make sure we have a legal direction and we understand what challenges and opportunities are inherent in this initiative before we can lay out completely how we're able to implement it. There may need to be some tweaks based on some legal challenges, but we'll take a look at it. That's what we're doing right now. I can't, because I don't know what they are. I got a briefing this morning, and these are only some very general concepts, but to go into them now would be too premature. But you know, the city attorney, there's more information they're going to bring to me going forward. But it's not, and again, let me be very clear. We're not looking for legal challenges. We're making sure that the path to implementation of Initiative 300 is clear and that we understand all the potential opportunities and challenges that might be inherent in implementing that initiative. So it's about doing what the people have asked us to do on this initiative. They should be doing the same thing. We'll do it from our city, but it's up to them to take a look at their own opportunities and challenges with the initiative. You know, interestingly enough, we're reminded of the time, if you study Denver's history with regards to bonds and these type of 10 to 15-year issuances, they typically have occurred either during or right before a recessionary period. And these type of bonds have served to actually help sustain Denver during those times. For example, we issued these bonds, the last bond in 2007. We all know what happened in 2008. It was in 2008 and 2009 and thereafter, during the recession, that Denver, the city, was the only real entity in the state of Colorado doing anything. So we kept architects, we kept construction companies and construction workers working during the recession. We expedited the issuance of dollars so that we can keep the economy moving. So if you look across the history of bonds, not only in Denver, but municipal bonds across the country, they do serve as economic engines in terms of keeping people working and keep the economy moving, even in difficult recessionary times or slowdown times, and people are concerned. But it served as a tremendous safety net in 2007 and forward. You bet. Maybe one more question and we'll get out of your way. Yes, sir.
Apologize for being late. I had trouble getting through the door. Congratulations on the bond. I think this is great. This is good stuff that our community needs. Our concern is the underground economy and the construction industry. We've talked to you about it. With this amount of money going into construction, how do you plan to up the game to make sure these are good jobs?
Well, one of the things that we will share with you, Denver is one of the leading cities in terms of our prevailing wage ordinance. Our work with our general contractors to make sure that people they have not only good prevailing wage, but they have good benefits to serve their employees, that people are trained and that safety is the highest priority for all of their employees that may be on construction sites. As I've shared with you and your team, that the concerns around the theft of service and underground economies are issues that you should take up with the state, with the governor's office and the attorney general. I know that the governor has already appointed or is appointing a task force to look into this matter. We do have a theft of service law in the state of Colorado, and something you all ought to ask the attorney general to take a look at and to investigate where you believe this sort of activity is taking place. And we are writing a letter right now to the governor and the attorney general on your behalf to ask them to take a look at these matters. You bet. All right, thank you all very much. Congratulations, Denver.